Hannah means everything to our team. We say it all the time. We joke about it. I'm always like, don't hurt Hannah. Don't hit Hannah in the head. We need Hannah. She's the backbone to our team. She's the hardest worker in the classroom, on the ice. We do it for her. She makes us all better. But at the same time, she quite literally saves us too often. But we love Hannah, so.
I mean, she's the absolute backbone of the program. Hannah never has a bad day, knock on wood, right? So she works so hard. She's the hardest working kid on the team. She's also just one of the most, amazing kids in general. She's the first to show up, last to leave kind of kid, the kid that every coach wants and doesn't want to see graduate after 4 years. So, I think that Hannah gives us the confidence, defensively to be able to try some things offensively, stretching the zones and things of that nature that, without such a confident backstop back there, we wouldn't be able to do. So Hannah has just been unreal for us, her entire time as a Forester, but her senior year, she's really, really stepped up to the plate and really helped us out.
Well, goaltending has been exceptional for the Foresters, and it's Hannah Turnage who's going to be in the net tonight for the Foresters. She's been electric, 39 saves on 42 shots. She's been so good for this team when they've needed her. You couldn't ask for a better goaltender. In my mind, the best goaltender in this conference. Foresters are going to need her again tonight, Chris.
Shots are 12-2. Hannah Turnage has been a brick wall in the net for the Foresters in the Slats Cup semifinals. Hannah Turnage again picks up right where she left off. She has saved her best for the home stretch of the season in the Slats Cup semifinals. This is a highly touted offense for Adrian with weapons up and down the lineup, and the Foresters have kept them at bay. A large part of that has been thanks to the all-conference netminder and two-time all-conference netminder in Hannah Turnage.
I'd have to say on the hockey side, my dad, my brother, they of course played before me. And my brother playing out would always want somebody to shoot on, so of course that would be me. And then my dad played goalie too, so that was always a huge influence. He was my goalie coach growing up until I got a little older. Then we had Coach Pete, and then my dad was an assistant coach, and they would coach us all together, which was awesome. And then I'd have Coach Jeff and Coach Matt. They were awesome as well. And just all of the support around from my coaches has been awesome. Coach Tom Hall, he's was my head coach on the Ravens playing when I was little. And he's just been great. Showed me a lot of life skills as well. And then on Bell Tire, Coach Mike, Coach Dan, and Coach John were just amazing. So lots of support and lots of drive to succeed from all around. But there were enough of us where we were like, let's get together and make our own team. So we made the KV Ravens, which is still a thriving program today, has been one of the biggest programs in Michigan actually for a couple years, which is awesome to see. And like I said, Coach Tom, my dad, different Coach Craig, they all created this program for girls in our area because there wasn't any. The only ones were all downtown, like in Detroit, and we didn't want to drive an hour to go play when there were so many rinks in the area, just 15 minutes away. And we created that team, went all the way to nationals a couple years, won 3 state championships, yeah. And went all the way up to being a Tier 1 program, so it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, speaking of Tier 1 programs, prior to coming to Lake Forest, played on a premier AAA program with Bell Tire. Just talk about playing with them and some of those teams.
Bell Tire is awesome. I have so many good things to say about Bell Tire. We also won 2 state championships there, which was amazing. We got to go to nationals in California and Orange County, which was a blast, playing at the Great Park, which is amazing. Being with Coach Mike, Coach John, and Coach Dan, like I said, always drive for success. They never settled for anything but the best, so you always had to push yourself in every aspect. And all the girls were amazing, awesome girls, always pumping everybody's tires, no pun intended, to be fired up and always rolling BT, so.
Hey Hannah, Coach Matt. I don't even know where to begin. so nice just hearing from you. Even a little bit here and there, because I know it can be very, very challenging. But you handled it fantastic. I'm just very, very proud of you. And I want to say congratulations on graduating from Lake Forest.
Well, obviously a star goaltender here for the Forester women's hockey team, but that was not all that you were a part of. We'll first start on the academic side. Pre-med track, earning a degree in neuroscience. Just talk a little bit about what inspired you to go down that route.
Yeah, so ever since I was little, I've always wanted to be a doctor. I always had the little play, like Dr. Kid. I'd dress up as a doctor for Halloween, type of stuff like that. But I didn't know for sure, like, if that is what I wanted to do until I got here at Lake Forest. I was debating between biology and neuroscience because I've always loved all the sciences. I'm not really a history, English type. I'm not good at that. But sciences, I would do really well, so I really enjoyed that. And when I took my intro to neuroscience class, which also counted as a bio class, so I was like, oh, I'll take it, see how it goes. I just fell in love with it. I loved learning more about the human body, learning about what we do, like why and how we do what we do, compared to in bio where you learn like plants. I just like could not get I did not understand plants. So I knew like this was the route for me. It's what I understood the best and it's what I really loved.
Now, as far as the coursework, some of the research that you've done, if you can just share some of the things that you've done working with Dr. Daventhal here at Lake Forest College and some of the things you've been able to study during your time here.
Yeah, so I was really fortunate that over COVID, Dr. Delventhal actually came to the college from Yale. So she came over here and didn't have any students in her lab yet. And I had her over Zoom, and she gave this talk that was like an extra credit talk for our class, and I needed that. So I went to her talk, and she talked about her research and everything that she does with concussions and brain injuries in fruit flies and how it relates to high-impact sports like hockey. And I was like, this is exactly what I want to go into. So I emailed her right after her talk and said, I loved everything that you had to say. Will you let me in your lab? And she was like, well, like we're not on campus yet because COVID. So once we get back to school that she'd reach out to me and I'd be in it, and here we are. She let me in it. So it was awesome. I really love it. It's a good time.
No, that's awesome to hear. What would you say for yourself is maybe some of the favorite things that you studied in particular in some of your research that really captivated your attention?
Yeah, so luckily with fruit flies, what we do is we find different paradigms and different like angles that inflict their certain injury. So my project was mostly on female fruit flies because that's not really known how females go through the same type of high impact injury as the males do. So it's like you think about it in football, it's like females don't really play football, but females play like hockey, lacrosse, other high impact sports. So they're not as much studied. And since I come from hockey, which is a high impact sport, Dr. Delventhal suggested that I do the research in females because it's like female athletes can get brain injuries too. So a lot of my work has been on the females and how that brain chemistry changes compared to the males. So it's been really fun. In my research, I've studied like starvation and nutrition kind of type of vibe with the fruit flies. So knowing how much is too much like food to take on versus not enough and stuff like that, which is something that I could personally benefit from. With my fruit flies, I like watch them go through the same thing and I'm like, man, I should eat more because they're eating this much after like getting an injury or something. I should be kind of following the path that they are. So I've learned a lot about just how much food has an impact on the athlete and the athlete's body.
When I think of quintessential Hannah moments from the lab, the first thing I always think of is the time we were there till, I don't know, 8:30 at night clearing out tubes from the Drosophila activity monitors because we had run out of fresh ones, so we had to basically sit there and clean out the old ones for like 2.5 hours. And then probably number 2 on that list, and probably my favorite Hannah moment ever, was calling you right after a hockey practice, and you were pretty much half in your keeper gear and just editing your infographic on BioRender in real time prior to presenting at a national conference. So that was pretty cool. That was for sure a Hannah moment.
You weren't only a student and an athlete, but you are a member of Delta Gamma. Just talk a little bit about what that sorority means to you.
Oh, I love DG. So DG, like Delta Gamma is known for doing good, DG. So I met so many great girls from DG, and we all share like similar values of holding that doing good standard just in life. And being around that really helped to have support on all aspects and everything. Awesome. Especially my position as VP Foundation, where I like run certain events to raise money for our charities. Grace Garvey's actually taking my position since I'm graduating. And so watching her be able to run with it and really pick it up, and me being able to help her in that has been just great. And being so close with her as being both in DG and a teammate has been awesome. Oh, Anchor Splash is so fun. There's lots of relay races in the pool, so it's kind of like a big pool party that we raise money for the Hadley Institute for the Blind and our DG Foundation, which goes to different blind schools for the blind like across the country, which is just amazing. And there's also a synchronized swimming event at the end. Last year, the men's hockey team put on a pretty stellar performance there in the pool. And so did, of course, the swim and dive team. They crushed it.
Hey, Hannah. Congratulations on graduation. I'm so excited for you, and I'm so proud of everything you've done at Lake Forest. And I cannot wait to see all of the incredible and amazing things you do throughout the rest of your life, especially after seeing all the amazing things you've done at Lake Forest within hockey and DG and all the other things you were involved in and impacted. I had so much fun being your friend at school, and I'm so glad to have a friend like you in my life. And I would not have made it through my years at Lake Forest without you there with me by my side, especially being my COB buddy and going through the whole DG process kind of blind. It was really, really exciting to have you there with me. And yeah, congratulations. I'm so proud of you, and I hope to see you soon. Come back to Michigan.
Coming to Lake Forest, you played with some incredible goalie partners, Juliana Tarantino and Jockey Rogers. What did you learn from them in your first couple seasons?
Oh man, I learned a lot from both of them. I definitely learned to like savor the moment. They talked about all the time how great of an impact your teammates have on you, and I definitely took that to heart. And knowing your teammates and making those bonds that will last forever, as I'm still friends with Jackie and Juliana. They're great. They came to like every one of our home games because they're just still in the area. And another thing I learned from them is just to be confident in your ability and what you have, and not really take negative opinions to heart, and definitely roll with the positive ones, which of course always being positive is huge. So they really showed that for me as well, and just being positive all the time. And of course with Jackie too, like she was always good spirit and would always have good things to say, always, no matter what. And I wanted to really thrive and be just like that on the team, because the team always needed that role. To have that spirit everywhere. And same with Juliana, always cracking jokes on the bench with me when we would be cheering on Jackie in the net, and we'd always just cheer on each other and have that great goalie dynamic, which some teams don't really have. And here at Lake Forest, I think it's special in that we've always had that. We've always had great goalie bonds and cheering on each other, whether you're in the net or not, just being each other's biggest fan.
Hi, Hannah. Congratulations on graduating this year. It has been a pleasure getting to know you on and off the ice this year. You have taught me so much about being a goalie and just being a college student in general. I've really enjoyed our time together, whether that being on Heroes Day or homecoming at football games or at Texas Roadhouse on our little goalie date. But next year's not going to be the same without you. I love you so much, and I can't wait to see what you do in the future.
I'd say it's always keeping up that winning tradition, the tradition of excellence that it's on the walls everywhere. That's always something huge. Keeping that up, and putting on that Forster jersey, like you represent something bigger than yourself. You represent the school, you represent all the clubs you belong to and everything. And when you see, like, for example, I'll see DGs in the stands and they've got signs, like, that's so awesome. And like, when you put on that Forster jersey, like, you represent them too. You represent the person next to you, you represent so much more. And I think that plays a big role in how the team plays as well. Like, when our stands are packed, everybody's riled up on the bench. When football or hockey is cheering us on, I think the team really bounces off of that, and that's just a big part of the Forster family.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. Playing your game, you've had a lot of success as a Forster. Let's first start with being named to the All-NCHA team for the last 2 seasons. What does that honor mean to you?
It's really a representation of the team, I feel like, and being able to be awarded with that.
This season, your team named 2 new captains that will join 2-year captains, Stokely Ashcraft and Sammy Shoebottom and Hannah Turnage. What can you just say about your leadership group entering the season?
It's one of the best I've ever had here at Lake Forest. Hannah, Shue, and Stokely all set the tone at practice. They're just really, really good hockey players, and more importantly, they're really good kids. And I think that kind of has set the tone for the program and put us in a really good spot culture-wise.
Something that might get overlooked is goaltenders normally don't get to wear the C, and you had that honor this year. Roberta Luongo wore the captain C. But it's very rare. How special is that for you?
It's really special. I mean, like I said, so Jackie Rogers was also a goalie captain, and I always looked up to her, so I wanted to fill her shoes and really take on that role. Like I said, and being positive on the team is something that the team always needs. So in me being a captain this past season, I feel like that was what I was meant to fulfill.
Yeah, continuing to speak of goaltenders, Hannah had an amazing bounce-back game, earned Forster Athlete of the Week. She set a career high in saves with 48 in that game. What just allowed her to have that kind of bounce back?
She's a heck of a goalie. Like, she just is by far one of the hardest working individuals I've ever met, and she's just, can-do attitude all the time with everything she does. We did have that opportunity to pull her, brought her aside, said, hey, look, tomorrow's a new day. I think she was able to, commend her to battle back mentally and was ready to go on Saturday. I think so was she had a very good showing. We're very proud of everything she did both games.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2023 Ryan McCarthy Award winner, number 31, Hannah Turnage.
Turnage again. That first period we talked about it. What a start for her.
Yeah, she has been excellent in this game so far, keeping this game at 0-0 for the Foresters, making some spectacular saves in the slot, and just keeping that puck out of the net as the Bulldogs have been looming, trying to get that puck past her, which she's said no so far.
This shot, this is stopped by Turnage. Second opportunity, and Turnage again with a huge stop. Immediately off the face-off, back are the Bulldogs. 2-on-1, right to the top of the paint. This stayed out, and now a frenzy in front of Turnage's net. Oh my, 10-bell stop.
Team defense was a huge factor for your team in this game. Talk about the penalty kill and Hannah Turnage in it.
Yeah, Hannah, she always steps up for us. We have full trust in her every game to make those big saves. Penalty kill was out there blocking the big shots, did what we needed to do and shut them down.
Looking at your goaltender, 53 saves on 55 shots. Third time this season she's been named Forster Athlete of the Week. How much confidence does she give your team when she's in the net?
Hannah's just so amazing to have in that. As a defenseman, she's always talking to me. Like, she's always giving me a heads up as to who's on my back, who's coming after me. And then I always love to just swing by, give her a fist bump after we score a goal or they score a goal. It's just a great time. I love her.
Yeah, hard to talk about the season without your goaltender, Hannah Turnage, who was electric in that win against Adrian. 51 saves on 53 shots, 5 shutouts this season. What does she mean to this program?
I think every time I've talked to you about Hannah, Adam, I say that if we didn't have her, we would be a completely different team, and I stand by that. I mean, she stands on her head when we are not playing well in front of her. When we are playing well in front of her, she is still backs us up. She is the teammate that you score on her in practice. She gets excited for you. And she's a great teammate, great person to be around. And if you feel so much more confident when she's in the net behind you.
Your goaltender records her 4th shutout of the season. How important has she been all season?
Oh, she's the rock of our team. She literally is a brick wall. So, yeah, all respect to her, and she's literally, like I said, the rock of our team.
Hard to talk about this game without talking about your goaltender. 3 straight shutouts now. How important was she in this one and all season?
Yeah, I think she just gives us, honestly, like a sense of calmness. Even when she's not too busy or too active, we know we have Hannah back there. She's definitely, like, I don't know, she's a hero on our team, and we know that, so we can play, we can have more confidence when we know she's back there.
With Coach Jackie Slats, does a lot of good things. Oh, an opportunity in front, and Turnage gets there in time. Oh my, highway robbery. The Forester zone. One-on-one with Turnage, and shut down by Hannah Turnage off a point-blank opportunity. Oh, right into the high slot. The Yellen was turned away from point-blank range. Oh my, a huge stop. Oh, an opportunity for Petrowski right down Broadway. And Turnage shut it down. Aggressive to the top of the paint was Hannah Turnage. Bulldogs coming right back to the top of the paint. A flurry of opportunities. Superman style. Hannah Turnage makes another stop. And that might be, folks, the last time we see Hannah Turnage in a Forester uniform as she's a senior, and all of our seniors as they prepare to graduate. Now that your career has come to an end, we'll start a 2-part question here. We'll start with that game against Adrian. Just some of your takeaways from that game and what you'll cherish the most, even though that knocked your team out.
Yeah, that game against Adrian. I mean, I wanted to play, for me it was like possibly the last game, and it was my last game. So I just left it all out there. I tried my best, and so did our entire team. The first period was amazing. Like, they really were so strong in the D zone, keeping everything forward, which was awesome. Took a little bit of relief off of me. But I just played my best that I could to try and give the team a chance to win. And unfortunately, it came down to the third. But I mean, we really tried. We played our hearts out, and I think everybody could say that. They left it all out there for us. And I think the whole team really rallied because they knew our senior class wanted to win. We wanted to be there. We wanted to get to the finals. And the underclassmen as well, like, really bought in, I think, in that game to help. And they said, like, we want to do this for each other, which is always huge. Like, we were playing for each other, which you can't get much better than that. But I had a blast that game. Coach always talks about it. She's like, you're getting like so many shots that does not look fun. And I'm out there just like with a smile. And I was like, I love this. I don't know. Like, I was having a great time. So that's all that matters, like having fun and playing hard.